right when you Hello everyone and welcome back to the Speed Report here on 105 The Drive and Twitch Monster 27. This is part 2 of what we were talking about here. Obviously we were delayed in part 1, so we apologize about that, but here we are in part 2 bringing this to you live here on Twitch Monster 27 and later on 105 The Drive. We were talking about Wool Tortoise there, and that's when things came up, and we had to leave here. I'm in the booth right now, or I'm in the broadcast right now alone. However, soon to join us will be Fractured Chain, and I'm sure Speedy will recognize the chat is back up, and he'll chat away on what he thinks about what's going on out here. So let's see if yeah, I got you. All right, so we'll probably get some help later on, but we'll continue to talk about it, right? Remember that we were talking about, we already talked about our champion foreign wheel, congratulations, and we're now talking about what you like, what you don't like about drivers' seasons last season. So let's go ahead and continue with that, and let's flick over to our driver that was our veteran, long-time veteran here in beloved car, and he was, as you hear my phone going off, he was here, he was there in the series, and he was our veteran presence, if you will, and he obviously we appreciate we appreciate what he was able to do out there on the track. Here's what I like about his season. He was able to act as an official in some races. He did a pretty good job of that. He was able, honestly, to kind of govern things while I was away, while there was no fractured, or while there was no paint. He managed to do pretty good in the battle for the top group, or the battle for the off-season battle, or the battle for the chase contenders that missed the chase. But there's a litany of things we could talk about as far as things that I saw that I didn't like about his season. So one of the things I didn't like was the lack of aggressiveness. This is something that I constantly am talking about as regards his aggressiveness or lack thereof when it comes to his ability on the racetrack. In my opinion, I think from the very start, we're talking about a driver who ran literally almost every race of the season, starting from Daytona. A lot of the drivers, including Wes and Foreign, came in after some races were ran. We had our big performance there. We had our big performance there. What's up, Golden Dragon? What's going on back? I'm back.
I'm back too.
So we had our big performance there at Daytona, and then everyone came in about Auto Club. So he had a race up on these guys, and I just don't like how in the truck series, in the lowest series, Beloved couldn't get it done. I think we talked about him in multiple speed reports. Here is someone who I think could have benefited a lot from getting wins. Could have benefited a lot from getting top threes and building his confidence. We're talking about someone who finished 4th in the Cup Series last season, locked in, guaranteed lock-in spot and everything. And I mean, to come in with the Truck Series drivers, all these rookies, and basically scrub out, miss the playoffs, I think it just tarnishes whatever progress that he had made in the Cup Series. In the lower series, not only was he supposed to be a veteran presence, but he was supposed to be that veteran leadership that you have on a racetrack as far as his performance. Um, and we're talking about veteran. We're not talking about someone who's been around the league for 5 seasons. We're talking about someone who's been around the league since NASCAR 14. I mean, the KMR has run 40 seasons. This being the 40th, I'd say he ran probably 30 to 35 of the 40 seasons. And to be unable to get it done is not good. It's not good in any way, shape, or form. So that's one thing I don't like, his lack of aggressiveness. I wanted him to go get it and be aggressive and be up front. This was his series and his opportunity to do that. So I don't like that. I don't like how he handled the post race, or not post race, but the postseason. A lot of situations where I think the postseason he could have done a lot of stuff differently. There was just quite a few things I didn't like about his season, and hopefully this will be a lesson learned. Obviously, when you look over there in the X Series, which we're not going to talk a lot about today, you look over there in the X Series, he's doing pretty well. In the chase in the postseason, he did pretty well all regular season, but I don't know, something about these trucks he just didn't get. Slothy, you were there to see a lot of what Beloved did on the track. What did you like? What didn't you like about Beloved Cars' first and only performance in the Truck Series?
What I didn't like, I'm back and you up on this, is he's not aggressive enough. Whenever he needs to go out there, if he's running for his RCR team, he needs to go out there and go get it. He needs to go out there and do like I did. Like whenever I hot seated in some series, which I ain't hot seated in the truck shit, guys. I didn't hot seat this year, so I was for one race, and that was a special race. But he just needs to go out there and give it 110% every lap and be aggressive. A shocker that a Cup Series veteran didn't get it done and win a championship in the Truck Series. I'm shocking.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. And you talked about that aggressiveness. One thing that got him a Final Four or a top four in the Cup Series was the fact that he was able to use, or he did pit strategy. He was willing to stay out. He was willing to roll the dice. He was willing to put his truck out or his car out there. And, if you can go out there with Nightfall and Zesty and Swift and Paint and Speedy and perform well and lead laps and get your car up front and roll the dice, and then you go with these rookies in the Truck Series and you can't pull out a win and you can't win a championship, it makes you question how legitimate last season was, and it also makes you question whether he's really going to ever be competitive enough in the Cup Series. And I think this performance in the Truck Series puts a lot more pressure on him in the X Series to perform. Because if he's not performing, he goes in the X Series in the postseason. We're here. I mean, you can't hide anything. We'll see. A lot of the same guys that are in the trucks are in the X Series. So we'll see what he can do in the X Series, but not a good performance, in my opinion, in a 24, although he finished fourth in points overall. So a lot left on the table for the 24 truck. All right, let's go to our next. Let's go to our next driver. Driver the 27 made a midseason change. We know he started off in another truck, and here he is in the 27 for Thor Sport. Was helping Pennzoil out and getting those team points. This is Wolfpack. Wolfpack started off. He ran the first race at Daytona, but he started off on a part-time schedule here in the Truck Series. And was able to get himself pretty decent in points there. He got himself up to fifth. What did you like? What didn't you like about his Wolfpack's performance?
Wolfpack just needs more time to evaluate his drivers about this game style. This game style ain't like NASCAR 15, ain't like NASCAR Heat 3, ain't like NASCAR Heat 2. He just needs to go out there, set his truck up the way he likes to drive it, and go out there and see if he has a winning truck. If he's got a winning truck, he just needs to keep doing what he's doing. But I didn't like his style this year. He in the back. He led, I think, a couple laps out front in the trucks. After Pencil helped him out a little bit with setups and stuff. But like I said in the past things, if these truck drivers, these rookies, it was this year, if they need help, all they have to do is come and ask. I cut better, and I'm giving my thing, and I tell them, I say, here, just come and ask me. If y'all need help, come and ask me. I don't care to give y'all my setup if y'all need it for truck.
There you go. So truck drivers that will be around next season, if you're watching this, remember you can always go to him. He'll be definitely there to help you out, because the ultimate goal is that we want these drivers to be able to compete in the Cup. So we don't mind offering help and getting you guys faster or whatever the situation may be, or just to chat about what the truck is doing or what the car is doing in the X Series that is holding you back a little bit, and that's what we're here for. So, but anyway, here's what I like. Here's what I didn't like about Wolf. First of all, I liked how, Wolfpack was someone who he didn't give up. Yeah, there were times where he looked really bad. I mean, really, really bad. Laps down, did just look like crap. Let's be honest. And then he was able to kind of turn things around toward the course of the end of the race and finish on the lead lap, get some good positions. He never gave up. And that helped him out quite a bit, because at the beginning of the trucks, he had fell to that hot seat position and then was able to turn around and get himself from that hot seat position into the top 10, and then from the top 10 almost into the chase running, and ultimately finished fifth in points. So he did pretty good. It's good for him. He can take a lot and learn a lot. Obviously, he'll be in the X Series next season. He won't be in the trucks because he got that call up. But, he did really good. And in that perspective, here's what I didn't like. Number one, to start off with a part-time schedule, I think you have to be committed to a part-time schedule. I mean, expectations cannot be high. And it's definitely going to be the case in the X Series. If he chooses to run the X Series as a part-time, then he had better not have any expectations, because that's going to be that much tougher. You're going to have some Cup Series drivers that are in there battling, and it's not going to be easy. It just does not get easier from here. So I think to start off with a part-time schedule, he did get a win by default. But a win is a win. So that's good for him. It looks good on the resume, but he's going to have to go out there and he's going to have to kind of turn things a notch up. He's going to have to be committed to a full-time schedule if he's going to have any thoughts about a chase next season. He had better be thinking about a full-time schedule and teaming up with the right individual that's going to help him. He did team up with Pennzoil. That was really smart. Now he's going to have to figure out someone to team up with in the X Series if he's going to be any better than what he has been. So something to think about with Wolfpack. But he did pretty good, had a pretty good season in the Truck Series. A good way to introduce yourself to KMR. He kept his nose clean and out of trouble. You didn't see him too much in the chat or anything like that. So we'll see what he has to bring to the table next season in the X Series. Okay, our next driver here, a bit of a surprise. At least he started off kind of hot. Not him. It started off a little hot. Got a second place finish at Martinsville. That gave KBM a team finish. Was a big surprise because we've seen him run in the past, and we've seen some interesting races. But we're talking about someone who made the chase, and literally could have made the final round of the chase. Honestly, we're talking about Woolsey Emu. Slothy, we've ran with Woolsey in the past. Lord have mercy, I've got headaches and wrecked cars.
I had a concussion after what he did to me.
But
he absolutely did right to the outside wall, and I went concussion city.
So that was the old Woolsey. What do you like about the new Woolsey Truck Series? What did you like? What didn't you like about his season?
What I didn't like was, let's just get to where I like. I like his aggression. I like his passing. He just needs to get, and what I don't like, he just needs to get faster. A lot faster to catch up with West and who else is it? Beloved, Penzel, and plus, we ain't talked about him yet, Zach and all them. He just needs to get aggressive. He needs to get up on the wheel and go.
Yeah, definitely. I tell you something I like. He came out the start of the season with the right attitude. And the first part of the season he was really aggressive and he ran really well. He ran really smart. But obviously, we don't call him a pro and not a veteran for a reason. You could tell as the season wore on, especially when he got to the chase. This is his first ever chase. I mean, first ever chase. And for him to get to the chase is a big achievement. So you have to like that, that he had a pretty good season. He was able to get to the chase and he ran well. But what I didn't like about it was that he just fell completely and totally apart in the postseason. And I think that just comes with experience. That just comes with...
Pencil just asked me for him, but Paintbrush just asked me for him, but I got him.
That comes with experience. That comes with, being in the chase multiple seasons and running well multiple seasons. And I think that he can build on this season and turn it into something that's pretty good. So that's what I think about it, and I think that he could definitely pull that off. But it's going to take some work and effort on his part to be able to do that. For sure. And joining us here is Paintbrush. Paint, you got a copy up here?
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for joining us here, man. Just kind of reminiscing on the truck series here and everything that went on here. And we're just kind of looking at drivers and what we liked and didn't like about their season this past season. And since we're sitting here on Woolsey Emu, you've ran with Woolsey before too in the past, good Lord. And so what are some things you noticed compared to from the old Woolsey to the Woolsey we saw this season?
The old Woolsey didn't look page the field at Daytona.
Well, that's the kind of the improving Woolsey. Let's put it like that.
So you want what's different from the new Woolsey and the old Woolsey?
Yeah.
Let me think about this one. All right, so I guess the old Woolsey didn't really talk a lot, and he did a lot more racing and was understanding, running in the back with the slower people, understanding the game. And the new Woolsey kind of doesn't know what he's doing, and he needs more practice before a race.
Okay, so talking about in particular the truck series race.
Okay.
Truck series, yeah, because I know what happened at the X series, and that's a time for another discussion there. But primarily the truck series, we're talking about someone who made the chase. We're talking about someone who was a competitor in that first round and ultimately was eliminated. But he logged in quite a few points. What did you like about it? Is there anything you saw out of this season that he could build on?
The few races that I was able to partake in watching or competing, he was up in the top 5 or 6 for the most part. And he was staying pretty consistent. And he was leading laps when he stood under a yellow flag or a green flag pit stop. So, yeah. I mean, if he keeps practicing and keeps doing what he's doing, I wouldn't see why not later on in the future of his career he wouldn't be a decent driver. You always gotta start somewhere and work your way up.
That's for sure. You're right. Okay. Let's move on to, we already talked about Wool Tortoise in our first segment. Let's talk about Zach Attack here in the 17. Not that many starts for the driver of the 17 as Zach, but he made those starts count, logged in multiple top threes, and came really close to winning a race. This is definitely, we'll see more of Zach next season. What did you like and what didn't you like about Zach's few starts paint in the truck series, primarily the truck series?
Honestly, I don't know because I never saw him race in the truck series. I only was with him one time in the Xfinity, so maybe Slosky has better input than me on that one.
Okay, Slothy?
What I liked about Zach, he can at least keep up with the other people, like West and all of them. He can keep up with them. And what I did like was him making a bad calls, like at some races, him making bad calls and hitting way too late out of a run where it will interfere with his finish position. And hitting the leader, and the guy that's right there is going to close on him faster than what he's got tires.
That's true. One thing I like about Zach is actually what you alluded to, is that he was able to keep up with that top pack, that big three, if you will. And so you have to think that next season he's definitely going to be someone you're going to have to compete with. If you're anyone that's going to be competing next season, maybe that didn't get a chance to run, you're waiting for your chance, or drivers that were in that hot seat position like Zach and had to battle in and are waiting next season to get you a full season in that truck series, you had better keep your eyes open for the 17 if that is his number next season.
I got some breaking news all the way while we're on that collision, while we're on that driver. Zach Attack just messaged me privately and just announced that his number for next season will be he'll announce it to me later, but it will be alliance with Team Penske. He'll probably be in the 29 custom truck.
Okay, so that's breaking news. We'll get more in the off season on that. One thing I didn't like about Zach was just that I thought that he could have got a lot more call-up points, a lot more opportunity. I think he was faster than the other two drivers that were in that position, and I just think he could have got more. But there's not a whole lot we know on Zach. We do know, though, that, again, he logged in some top threes. He looked really, really good in the times that he did get a chance to run, and I look forward to seeing more out of this kid when he gets the opportunity to run next season. So we'll keep our notebooks open and we'll keep our eyes out for a Zach Attack and the performance that he'll have next season. A long off season for the truck series to be able to contemplate moves, and an awesome time to get signed up and get ready as the schedule is continuing to be produced. Almost done with the schedule, so any of you guys that have not chimed in and helping prepare the schedule for next season, if you want to do that, please message me on Xbox, or you can message me here on the Twitch channel or on YouTube if you see it on the YouTube side. All right, so that's Zach Attack. We already talked about Pennzoil. Let's talk about Josh, the game, who has just absolutely disappeared from the face of the earth.
I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone will get a Toyota because he was a Toyota. But
Yeah,
anyway,
he was a Toyota.
So what in the world happened to Josh the game? Josh the best game. He finished 10th in points with a 304. But yeah, what did you like? What didn't you like about Josh Slothy in his performance?
What I liked about us, he kept his own. He kept out of the way of drivers. Like if drivers were faster than him, he let them go. And if he caught back up to him, the driver had respect for him. He let him go. He got respect from other drivers. But what I don't like is I know he could be 10 times faster than what he is. Like I've told everybody, even on just water go, If you need help, come and ask. Any of our cup drivers does not care to help you if you need help. Like me or Cookie or Paint or anybody, if you need help, just come and ask us.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to be a tenth slower at every track except for restrictor plates, come ask me. I can help you out with that.
We'll be a 10th faster at about a half and compete with everybody else and come and ask me.
There you go. Paint.
Yo.
I know limited showtime. Obviously, from the races you have seen, either through the broadcast or from actually being out there. What did you notice out of the 82 of Josh that you liked or didn't like out there?
He was a clean driver for the most part when I was watching the truck races and stuff. He was racing people cleanly and giving the respected drivers their space that were faster, like Foreign and West. Like if it was like a restart, and like trying to like race them hard or something, their battle for the win, he would just let off and just like do his own thing basically, not like try wrecking people. That's like what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. Yeah, we look forward to seeing if Josh returns to the series next season. Well, returns to KMR next season. He's also in the X Series, but again, he is with MIA, and he probably is taking a lead for the remainder of the season. One thing I liked was his speed. He had some speed in the truck. He really did, and that I think he could have been a little bit faster. I think he could have been a top 5 truck on every race. But he definitely had speed in the truck. I'd like to see him, apply that speed a little bit more to be a little more competitive next season. Okay, Treshawn is our next driver. Obviously, now we're in the hot seats. I don't even remember what truck he drove. Was it the 51?
What's his gamer tag?
Treshawn.
I think it is. It is the. I think the 51 got switched out. I think he did drive the 51 for the last part of the season. Me and Frank
Not
broadcast.
51. Not 51. No, was it? I don't even remember. Anyway, we'll just pick a truck and be like, hey, we know who we're talking
99
about.
would work.
It's not gonna be a Ford. It's gonna be a Chevy, the 32. Even though he didn't drive that. Anyway, we know we've seen Treshawn run. We saw him run in the X Series as well. Obviously, hot seat, kinda in both. He didn't make it out of into the top 10, but in limited action, we saw him run kind of mid to backpack. Paint, you've seen him run a little bit. What did you like and didn't you like about his opportunities out there, his performance that he put out in his opportunities?
I like that he was teammates with somebody and working together, I guess, if you want to call that a restrictor plate track. And what I didn't like about him is he needs to just keep his head up and race instead of using words and stuff that shouldn't be allowed in the league. But other than that, I mean, pretty chill guy, pretty clean racer.
Definitely, Slothy, you got a chance to see him on limited action. Did
Yeah.
you get anything from him?
He's like mid to backpack, but he just needs to get it a little bit more aggressive during these short races because truck is only 13%.
25%.
25%. Trucks are only 25%. So he needs to get a little bit more aggressive because that's short of a race. He needs to get up on a wheel and go to the front. But like Pank said, he's a good racer. He's a clean racer. And I don't know who his teammate is, but
Wesley.
oh well. So he was a Ford there, Cookie.
I guess.
West
And
was a
then
Ford.
I guess
West
I
was a
don't remember.
Ford.
Yeah, West was a Ford.
So that team was a
Oh,
Ford, that
excuse
whole
me.
team. So,
Well, I'm doing a broadcast, so we're doing Chevy right now. Like that's what we're doing. Anyway, what I
Rigged.
like about Treshawn,
Rigged.
what I liked
Rick,
about Treshawn.
Rigged.
Rick.
Nice. Ford just
Okay, y'all happy
exploded.
now? You happy? Are we happy?
Yes, yes, I'm
No,
Are we
happy.
happy?
no,
Okay,
no,
thank you.
I'm not.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a Ford now, okay? Gosh.
Thank you.
Anyway, what I liked about Treshawn was in limited action was we saw him run a little bit. We saw him run about mid to backpack. He had one good performance where he ran up in the top 5, but mid to backpack, what I like about him is he took it easy, he stayed out of everybody's way, recognizing that he needed points. He wasn't in necessarily any battle with any of the guys out there as far as playoffs. Took it easy, so that's good. But and I can't really say any too many bad things about him either. He did what he needed to do in situations. Now I am not referring to anything that had took place in the X series. I'm strictly talking about truck here, and so I look forward to seeing what he does next season. Obviously, I look forward to seeing what he can do in a full-time schedule, what he can accomplish, how fast he is against the competition that's coming in with him, and see what he can do. Obviously, he's already got his call up to the X series, but even in the X series, he sits a hot seat. So I want to see how he takes both of these series, and whether he can compete for a championship in either one of these series. So it's gonna be cool. Not a whole lot we know about him yet, but I look forward to seeing what he can perform, what he can do, and what type of performance he puts up. So that's Treshawn, and again, he will get some action in the X series as well. So we'll see if he can get out of that call up and into the top group, the top 13 in the X series. Okay, now continuing in the hot seat, we got Lawton in the O2. I think he ran 2, maybe 3 races in that
3,
O2
and
truck.
that was all 3 at our broadcast being fractured.
And one thing, obviously, right off the bat, we remember Lawton, Slothy. You know Lawton from way back. We're not talking about someone who is not foreign to, or someone who is foreign to the league. He's probably up there with Beloved as far as veterancy, as far as how long he's been around KMR. He is a race winner, multiple race winner. Not this season, but under his career, he's a multiple race winner. He's been in the chase twice in the Cup Series. However, we saw him limited time have some electronic issues in 2, I think, of the 3 races. Finished halfway decent in the 3rd one. I personally was disappointed with his attendance per se. I thought he could have did a little bit more, but obviously he had some things going on as well. In limited time, Slothy, was there any glimpse of the old Lawton in there?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, there was some glimpse of Lawton in there, but I don't think that he didn't have his. When you come in them races, you gotta have your A game on, or have your A game on throughout the race. Get to the front, lead some laps. He's a multiple race winner in the Cup Series. He should be able to go out there in the Truck Series to absolutely dominate a race. And the things that I didn't like was he didn't show up for all the races like he was supposed to.
Yeah, I think if he'd have showed up for Daytona at the beginning, he'd have been tough to beat throughout the season. Paint, you don't know the old Lawton, but you knew the Lawton that was in and out. And when he was in, he got a race to win at Las Vegas in the postseason, advanced in the chase. If you talk to anyone in that race, including the person that he bumped and ran out of the way to get that win, he's probably still fussing about that. Paint, you've been a witness of that, but you also, whether have you seen any of his truck races, and if so, what did you like and not like about his season and performance in the Truck Series? Got you. All right. Well, while he has technical difficulties and he gets that handled, here's what I like and didn't like. First of all, I liked how he showed a little bit of speed, but I like how he followed the rules out there on the racetrack. I like how he didn't, what respect he showed to the officials on the racetrack, which has been an issue in the past that has led him to some difficulties in KMR. But in this particular instance, here in the Truck Series, he followed the rules that were given to him. He did everything he needed to do. And you can appreciate someone that does that. No matter how good or bad they are. One thing about KMR is we take quality over quantity. So while we would love to have 1 billion people racing the league in and out or whatever, we'd rather have good quality drivers that enjoy having fun and will follow the rules. And there are consequences when it doesn't happen. And especially in the lower series, the turnover rate's going to be high because of that. So I like how he came in. When he did come, he did everything he was supposed to do. Now, here's what I don't like. I don't like, number one, I'll kind of put him in the same bracket with Beloved. When he came in, I would have expected him to be just a little bit more aggressive. In one of the races, he was several laps down, had some difficulty controlling the truck. He did say that he didn't have a lot of practice in these trucks, and that's understandable. But I tell you, experience beats out, I think, in a lot of situations. And here's a situation where I would have thought Lawton would have done a little bit better. He had some opportunities. I would have loved to see him get in the X Series and compete, get some call-up points and compete in the X Series. Instead, not only did he not get call-up points, not only is he not able to compete in the X Series, we'll see him in the Truck Series again. I've talked to him in the off season, or I talked to him lately, and he said he's definitely going to be competing next season as a full-time driver. So I want to see what he can do in that situation. I want to see if Lawton can go out there and fight and try and win a championship, because he can definitely do it. I mean, he has that experience under him, and he is fast. He is deceptively fast. And I want to see him go out there and mix it up with those leaders. Paint you back yet?
I
Yeah.
think it.
No. Oh, there he is. There he is.
Yeah.
What was the question? If you can repeat it, please.
What did you like about the about Lawton and the O2?
Outward Lawton, right? Is that?
Yeah, outward, yeah.
I think he almost won a race, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I think the last race he ran, he almost won it. Yeah, he ran pretty decent.
Yes, that was the only race that I saw. I think it was, I don't remember what track it was, but he was pretty fast. And I mean, he's a clean racer. I mean, he does lag at times, and but I mean, he's pretty respectful for the most part, and respects everything going on with the track and who's running the race at the time, and cooperates.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see what he does next season, and how he performs, and we'll see. All right, so there's no 63 truck. There's a 68 truck. We're gonna ride with that because he was a Toyota. Next one on the list, Dale Jr. Fan, and not to be confused with Dale Jr., our Dale Jr., the one in the Cup and X Series. Dale Jr. Fan was a rookie that came into the league, and Slothy, you saw a lot of them. Was there anything that you liked? Is there anything that you liked out of his performance in the Truck Series, and what didn't you like?
No. What I didn't like was he wasn't aggressive enough. But one thing I like is he knows how to run at structure points and stuff like he did at Daytona. I know he knows how to lead structure point races and stuff because I race with him a lot. Because he has his own league and everything, I run in it because I know he can lead structure points on this game, but he just can't stay up there without any help. And I know nobody wanted to hurry help him at Daytona. I know Speedy helped him a little bit, but at Dale Jr. Fan, I don't know. 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 I He just needs to be more aggressive up on the wheel when it comes to these heat games.
Yeah, definitely. How much did him having his own league and everything? How much did that hurt him as far as his attendance to the races? And
Not
if he could run full time, um, because he did miss a significant amount of races, if he could run full time, how different do you think his season would have been?
his league didn't mix up because I'll tell you, Mr. We could practice right after. I even offered him my help to practice with him right after his league because his leagues are on Mondays and Thursdays. And I told him I'd practice with you, and he didn't say he wanted to be my help or nothing. So I just left it at that.
Okay. Paint. How much of the 63 did you see in this past season? Okay, so I'll tell you one thing that I liked was, of course, that he was respectful and that he followed the rules, and I appreciate that from anybody. I don't care how good you are. But there's a whole litany of things. I mean, I just think he just wasn't fast enough. Period. There was not a race I can remember except for one, and that was Canadian Tire, ironically. There was no other race where I saw him mix it up. I saw him running up front. I saw him battling for a lead. I saw him battling for 10th. I mean, this guy was last place, lapped down, or lagged out by midway the race. It seemed like every race, and I just think that you're not going to compete even at the lowest level with that kind of performance. It just wasn't good enough. There's no other way you can put it. From the drop of the green flag at Daytona to the last race he ran, which I believe was Canadian Tire, he just wasn't good enough. He wasn't fast enough in any way, shape, or form. And if he puts up another season like that, if he decides to return next season, he puts up another season like that, then he's going to get blown away again. It's just not even going to be fair. And there's nothing really you can say about that. It's just kind of how it was for him. And he's just going to have to do better next season. He's going to have to be prepared now that he's been around KMR in and out for a season. If he returns next season, he should know what to expect because nothing's really changing in the off season. He should know what to expect. Competition is going to be different. Maybe it's a few more drivers that'll be around his skill level. Maybe there'll be some more drivers that'll be around maybe Wesley's skill level. But he's just going to have to go out there and figure out how to get it done. He's going to have to do something because what he did this season is not good enough. It's not going to be good enough ever. And there's not too much else to say about that.
He was like my pace whenever I first came in the league.
As I recall, in your rookie season, you at least got to win. So, I mean, you weren't garbage.
Daytona. They know it's how they got in the chase.
Anyway, yeah, but at least you got to win. That's my point. You got to win. You ran.
I got 2 wins out of that.
But my point is, you got the victory lane. You weren't 16 laps down. That's my point.
Yep.
But anyway. All right, so honorable mentions, Mixer Ice. I think he ran like 3 races in the 19. And then, of course, Tons, who had a pretty good season but decided to leave KMR. Obviously, we wish him the best wherever he goes and everything. So that is a rundown of our truck series. Now, let's make some announcements about the truck series. The truck series next season will increase its roster openings from 10 to 13. So more roster spots. The chase format will be pretty much the same. We already have several drivers that are signed in to run next season that are rookies, new drivers. So just FYI to a lot of you guys that ran the truck series this season, a lot of you guys already got a call up to the X series. So you will not be seeing the truck series next season unless you hear from me specifically. Otherwise, if you got called up, you're going to be there in the X Series, and that's going to be your series to run. Unless you got called up to Cup, then there's going to be a question mark on even that as well. But for those that are listening in that definitely want to run the Truck Series next season that are new, please message me here on Xbox, Sam Cook 2728785 in the off season. We'll put you on the list definitely. And again, open signups will be put on the website, the date, and will be put on the speed report in the off season. And then when open signup starts, if you're on the list or not, be sure that you hit that open signup list. It's just kind of roster spot to let us know, okay, you're definitely going to be there. The drop of the green flag at Daytona, and prepare yourself for an awesome ride all season long, and hopefully you'll be the next champion.
And guys, just don't remember if the Cup drivers, some of the Cup drivers could get called down to race against you. You just can't never tell about that. You can't never tell. You might get to race against me or some of the Cup drivers that wants to come down and hot seat up. So I applied them for a hot seat this year, but I didn't get one. So you can't never tell. Y'all might race against me at Daytona. Y'all might want to watch out for that.
So we'll keep an eye on who emerges as a contender out of these rookies. Who's going to be fast and who's going to be last. All right, let's briefly talk about the X Series. We had a race at Daytona. It was eventful, to say the least.
Yeah,
But we're not going to get into some of the things that made it eventful. Let's just say from a fan perspective, I enjoyed broadcasting the X Series and watching it. I'm pretty sure the drivers, not so much. But anyway, neither here or there. The X Series will be headed to ISM. So, what are you expecting for these guys? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me also mention for the X Series while I'm talking about the X Series. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Wesley said Kevin LePage. For sure. Almost. I'm telling you, that was interesting. But anyway, for the X Series now, if you're listening in, and this will be posted on the website probably tomorrow, which it is tomorrow. So later on today, it'll be posted on the website. But you're going to 2 races a night now. So your start time is going to be the old Truck Series start time. So 6 o'clock p.m. ISM. And then 8 o'clock p.m. will run your next X Series race, which will be ISM Bristol. Did I remember that correctly?
yeah, it's ISM.
Yes,
ISM
Bristol. Yeah, so keep that in mind, guys. And again, it will be posted on all the chats and everything dealing with KMR, so that you guys will know what's going on. That way, the Xfinity Series won't last a decade. But in any case, what can we expect, guys, in this next 2 races for the X Series?
I
A lot of
expect
aggressiveness.
10 times more aggressive with some of the drivers, and plus Heber, I've been hearing he's pretty good at ISM, and he could end up coming back out there and locking himself into the next round automatically.
Tell you what, points look rather interesting after that Daytona race, which we know is a wild card. Anything can happen, and everything did happen. We're going into those next couple tracks. Who needs to win the most, Paint?
Well, I'm gonna be biased and say the Ford boys, so they collect them into the next round. But I feel like the people that don't really compete on a weekly basis that are in the top like 3 to 4 or 5 every race that made the chase, maybe they could pull off a late run fuel strategy, yellow flag pit, or no pit situation and win the race.
Definitely. Foreign Whip in that 9, still hunting for his first KMR Series victory. It could be ISM on the field strategy. You never know. Then we go to the Cup Series. Obviously, they continue in round one of the chase. Daytona was yet another eventful race, although a little more calm toward the end as opposed to what that X Series was. Wow. But needless to say, a very interesting turn of events kind of shook things up as we head into ISM, just ISM. And so, what can we expect, guys, out of that ISM and what our overall tone of that race?
I think
Oh, you can go Slosky, never mind.
I think we're gonna have a little bit more aggression, especially for the guys that's below the cut line, with the final six spots, like Nightfall, Ghost Train, JP, Hairbear. We're gonna have aggression out of them to get in to go after the win. But as of right now, we we are looking at Nightfall and JP. JP's in a must win. I'm thinking JP's probably going to end up going to go try to steal one.
Well,
Certainly needs one.
Slosky, you should remember the last Phoenix race ended with Hindu winning, and he's in a must-win situation right now. So maybe
Oh yeah.
Hindu can
Yep.
go back to
And
back.
plus our team, but my
But
alliance team and Hindu is also in a must-win situation. I think
I mean,
it'll be JP versus Hindu.
I wouldn't really count on it. But I feel like the drivers that are in the top six are still going to battle like they do every week, because they want the people that are under the cut line to stay up the cut line, and they want, I guess they want to help lock themselves into like next round. Like you see Swift and Lime already locked in, but you got people like me and whoever else is the other two drivers not locked in yet. Um, so we're gonna be fighting. Swift and Lime are gonna be fighting as well, so they can get more wins and keep more people out of the round of six.
Okay. Keep an eye on that surprise attack from someone in the bottom of that, below that cutoff, because that can definitely change the whole perspective of the point situation if someone outside of that top 6 or 7 is able to grab a dub. So we'll keep an eye on that. Okay, so let's break it down. No Cup Series or Truck Series race, obviously. So let's get you broke down with our X Series. First race is ISM down here. Down here. Wow, I don't know my alphabets. Here we go. ISM. Who you got? Paint. Pole winner. Race winner.
Pole winner, we're gonna go with Foreign, and race winner Hindu.
Okay, Hindu gets a dub, preparing himself for the Cup Series. No doubt. Who you got? Slothy.
Pole winner, Amari, and race winner Hindu.
All right, so the 4 boys shake it up. I'm feeling a little biased there. It's okay. Then they head to Bristol at the normal time at 8 p.m. Who you got? Pole winner, race winner.
I have Foreign sweeping.
Foreign getting his first win, sweeping the series at Bristol. What you got, Slothy?
I got Terrier sweeping.
Terrier. Now that's a pick. That's a pick for you. Terrier sweeping the whole thing, surprising the field, getting himself into that next round. That will be an elimination race, of course. All right, so that is our X race. Let's go to the Cup side of things. It'll be ISM only for the Cup Series. Pole winner, race winner, Paint.
Can I be biased?
I mean, I guess it ain't stopped you before, so just go right on ahead.
Pole winner Swift, race winner me.
All right, your first win in the postseason. Slothy, what you got?
I got pole winner me, race winner Paintbrush.
All right, so Paintbrush. Let's see if that come true. pick to win from both sides. Obviously,
probably-
one side extremely biased.
I'll probably wreck myself again. I'm leading like I did last time.
Yeah, and then I'm behind you. I take the whip from you.
I went 4 laps
Oh
around the first
boy.
time. So, yeah, we'll probably do it again.
Yeah, we'll see. It's sure to be an interesting race, and you can catch it not live for the Cup Series, but you can certainly catch the races hopefully live for the X Series as they go both ISM and Bristol on Twitch channel Jaron Hazen, and for the YouTube side, KMR TV 105 The Drive.
By the way, Cookie, I think that race will be live because I finally figured out how to put my Twitch on my Xbox. It'll be
Okay,
from my
a
driver's
little late there. But if you want to tune in from the driver's seat of Slothy, you're more than welcome to. He should be live, according to what I'm hearing. And we'll get a view from the back of the pack. But anyway,
I'll be every time there, so be quiet.
not every time, son. Not every time. But anyway, we'll also we're still hunting for a broadcaster. We're trying to get that settled away. We think we got one for the Cup Series. So work with us, guys, and hopefully we'll be able to get one, at least to broadcast a championship race in the All-Star races. Okay, then, guys, it's been KMR here on the Speed Report. We hope that all 7 of our viewers enjoyed this broadcast. Again, catch us again next week as we continue to analyze this chase for both the X and Cup Series. Thank you, Slothy. Thank you, Paint, for joining us today and kind of breaking things out. Thank you, Terrier, for joining us earlier. Thank you, Speedy, for your input on earlier. We appreciate all the input that we get here on the Speed Report, and we'll just make sure that Paintbrush is not with us next time for that smart behind comment. And until next time, this is KMR.
I think I know what I'm wrecking.
I'm